This is the Cover 3 Tailgate. And welcome back to the Cover 3 podcast here on CBS Sports. That's Tom Fornelli. That's Danny Cannell. That's Bud Elliott. I'm Chip Patterson coming to you live at youtube.com/Cover3 and everywhere you get your podcast on demand. Thanks for hanging out. Smash that subscribe. Smash that like and come and join us in the chat, a.k.a. the Cover 3 Tailgate, where they already got me because it's a Thursday, which means we've got our locks for the weekend. And our old friend Dogwood Maple says out of office appointment 11 a.m. is expected to take about 75 to 90 minutes. Love that. And Brennan, about an hour before the show started, said, can anyone tell me what ULM Kentucky game Bud refers to in the opening jingle for the locks? Been wondering for so long now, but I've got the answer. Do you?
I do recall this. Yeah. It was a big opening weekend. I think it was the opening weekend of games.
It was week 1 of 2021.
Yeah, around it. This was the first year I was on the show, and Chip was not yet a sicko. He was not yet betting third and fourth quarter, pre-flop games. And at the time, team totals were a controversial offering on this program. I don't know if we can bet a team total here, and we have come an awful long way. So I think that's the game.
Yeah, 45-10, week 1 of 2021, the very beginning, correct, of your first season on the show. You were blowing my mind with first quarter plays, with team total plays. You are correct. We have come a long way here in the last couple of years. And if I remember correctly, you were live betting the hell out of ULM Kentucky because of the pace, right? Like the algos were messed up based on
somebody had gone a lot faster than realized, and yeah.
Yeah, that's incredible stuff, and we will, of course, get to hear that jingle once again here in just a little bit. But we begin, as we always do, with a look back at the week that was. Week 11 for Bud delivered a 5-4 performance. The wins were Iowa UCLA under 45.5, the App Coastal under 62.5, Alabama -2.5, Texas -21.5, Vanderbilt team total under 20.5. The losses were Wake Forest +7.5, Georgia -2.5, Oklahoma -2.5, and Oklahoma State +11.5. Thoughts on what we got?
All the wins. I actually don't think I got lucky in any of the wins. Thankfully, although you could argue Iowa UCLA had the Iowa quarterback not gotten hurt, that actually could have gone over. Maybe.
And 2 red zone. I mean, I'm with you. I got the win too, but you got 2 red zone interceptions, right?
Yeah. So that's probably I probably had 4 deserved and 1 undeserved there. And on the flip side, Wake Forest +7.5 is, for my money, the worst bad beat of the year with that end of game nonsense. But Oklahoma -2.5, obviously, you got to be able to score at least an offensive touchdown or 2, so that's a problem. And Oklahoma State +11.5, that was bad, and UGA was bad. So let's call it four honest, 1 lucky for the win, and 3 honest, 1 unlucky for the loss. So 5-4 seems about true.
All right, 5-4 for the week has you at 48-61 for the season.
Big yikes.
It was a 9-3 week here. I was also in on that under 45.5 in Iowa UCLA. First half under in Georgia Ole Miss. The Alabama first quarter pick. The West Virginia Cincinnati under 56.5. The Colorado team total over 33.5. The Notre Dame team total over 33.5. Army -5.5. Tennessee first quarter -6.5. Kansas +3. Ended up taking a loss on the Indiana fourth quarter -2.5. Whew.
Unfiltered.
I know. It was. Listen, it does catch up with you. Okay, so that was the Surgeon General stepping in and telling me what I need to do right there. Oregon first half -14.5 was really disappointing, especially given how close we got after it looked lost. And Vanderbilt +4.5. So 9-3 for the week has me at 71-64 for the season. Danny, It was a 6-9 week for you. The wins also getting in on Iowa UCLA under, Washington State minus 20.5, the Georgia Ole Miss under 54.5, Boston College minus 1.5, Kansas +3, Vanderbilt South Carolina under 45.5. The losses, the over 57.5, and Alabama LSU +3, Cincinnati minus 4.5, Texas Tech +4.5, the Oklahoma Missouri under 41.5. That's preposterous. Then North Texas +5.5, UCF +3, and UAB +6.5, and Middle Tennessee +11.5.
Let's move on. I ain't nothing to say. It was just a bad week.
No.
No lessons learned. Just
yeah, that's true. We understand that. The total, an under not cashing in Oklahoma, Missouri, a game that had 4 touchdowns in the final 2 minutes.
Yeah, that one hurt. That was a bad one. That was probably the roughest one of them all. Texas Tech being up early and then not only losing, but getting beat by double digits after that one looked like it was potentially a winner early. That's the only one, though. There's a bunch of bad ones.
So 6-9.
Whoa.
What?
North Texas. My man, Chandler Morris, cost me on that one. I mentioned that. 2 red zone interceptions.
2 end zone interceptions.
Yeah, in the end zone, throwing a ball there. I mean, I thought that he was going to come back, was going to get the cover for me at the very least, and that killed me. So screw Chandler Morris from here on out.
6-9 for the week has you at 53-71 for the season. Tom, it was a 7-9 week. The wins included the New Mexico San Diego State under 66.5, the Georgia Ole Miss under 54.5, Oklahoma State TCU under 66.5, Miami Georgia Tech under 64, BYU Utah over 40.5, Army North Texas under 63.5, Fresno Air Force over 40.5. The losses, you were on the opposite end. You were the trader and you took the loss on Iowa UCLA. Georgia minus 2.5, LSU +3, Cincinnati minus 4.5, Oklahoma minus 2.5, Oregon first half minus 14.5, Oklahoma State +11.5, Utah State, Washington State under 70.5, and Arkansas State +16.5.
The Oklahoma one was wild, although I can't really argue I deserved it. Even if I'd won it, it would have been lucky. The loss was unlucky. The Oregon one, you went over. The killer, I don't know if you guys saw this in the Utah State Washington State game. It's Washington State scores with a minute left to go up 49-21, 70 points. Utah State gets the ball, 1st and 10, incomplete pass, 2nd and 10, a little 3-yard pass. Now there's 40 seconds left. It's 3rd and 7 at their own 28. They hand off to the running back, Derek Jameson, who takes it 72 yards for a touchdown. All Washington State had to do was tackle a guy on 3rd and 7, and the guy just took off, lost the bet. I mean, it would have been 8-8, but even though it wouldn't have been a great week, 8-8 feels a hell of a lot better than 7-9. So, yeah, that was a fun way to end my Saturday night, sitting in bed watching that game on TV as that guy just took off.
End of game Utah State it's heartbreak city, man. I mean, remember Boise, Utah State like 3 years.
Yeah, no, don't worry about that. I apologize for the chuckle, but the Oklahoma State was the one that I think even in the group chat, we had just very quickly realized what was happening with the Cowboys.
It was halfway through the first quarter, and it was like, all right, well, we're not going to win Oklahoma State.
Oh, sir. 7-9 for the week has you at 57-69 for the season. All right, let's flush it because we got eyes ahead. We got week 12 on deck. And so I ask you, gentlemen, are y'all ready to lock it up?
Yes. Since 2005, the under in games between service academies is 40-9-1.
We're picking locks.
Give me an over in this one as well. A little 2-for-1 special.
Don't get these locks.
I was a sicko last week. Y'all were watching the good games. I was live betting the hell out of ULM Kentucky.
My blue plate special 5-star locks are coming.
5-star master lock. Lock it up. You want these locks.
I'm living and dying every point, every cover.
From the locking chair to your eyes and ears, we get started with the weeknight action. As we look at Thursday night, Just one game, ECU at Tulsa. Anybody got a lock?
I have a Twitter tip, but I'm not locking it up. I just took the under.
I just want to see if Kevin Wilson's chugging beers like Tim Beck did last week on Sports Center before the game. Did you guys see that?
No.
Oh, it was hilarious because they're doing this thing with my buddy Matt Barry and Mullen where they do like from campus and they're trying to make it like a mini game day feel. So Beck came over and somebody had beers and so they had them all there. And Mullen like took a sip, Barry faked it, and Tim Beck took it all back and then slammed it on his forehead and crushed the can on his forehead before a game. It was awesome.
Listen, and what happened? Didn't Coastal win?
I believe so.
Yeah.
I lean under with you, Tom. Not really enough to bet it, but
yeah,
I
do lean under.
ECU has done the thing that we kind of wondered after Mike Houston was fired. Are they going to start stringing together some wins? And they have started to string together a little bit of better performance. But buddy, 14.5 in Tulsa, Oklahoma on a Thursday night is a large ask for an interim team.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like ECU's first 2 games under the interim were at home. This is a road game on a short week. Just, yeah.
I mean, it might be a fair number based on what Tulsa's done, but no siree. All right. Turning our attention to Friday night, you got North Texas at UTSA. Danny, I can only assume is going to be locking up the Roadrunners. Wyoming at Colorado State, UCLA at Washington, and Houston at Arizona.
I've got one.
I got one too. You go first.
Give me the under 72.5 in North Texas UTSA. Number 2 damn big. No, too damn big. I can't stand for that.
Chandler Morris sucks. Give me the under. I'm gonna let the children sing. Too many daggum points as well.
Hey, Chandler Morris is 28 years old. He can take it like a man. All right.
Exactly.
We're not talking about kids anymore. You gonna fight that?
No, I'm just trying. Like, let's get a ruling here on if Wyoming, Colorado State is sicko mode.
No, because Colorado
State's leading. Like they're the leading candidate. So
Colorado State is a like significant team in a championship race. So I don't think that's digging the bottom of the barrel.
We will save it for later in the show. Then.
Okay,
but I will bet Wyoming here.
9.5.
I think Wyoming's playing a little bit better.
Get you 10.
That's probably gone under the radar because some of the results haven't fallen their way. Colorado State, on the other hand, have you guys checked out Colorado State's schedule? I know we discussed on Monday how like UNLV has to be like they're going to march on wherever the headquarters is for the Mountain West because this schedule recently, guys, their win column has really been juiced up. However, they have played Nevada, New Mexico. I think that was when everybody was hurt for New Mexico, Air Force, San Jose, and an Oregon State team that was really dead, and then obviously UTEP. It's kind of possible that Wyoming's the best team they've played in a minute based on how Wyoming's playing right now. So I do like Wyoming here. I'm going to bet it. 9.5, I think. There's no 10.
I can get you 10.
Oh, perfect. I'll take a 10.
Yeah. Man, Washington. Is Washington getting bet by Europe or something?
Let me look. No, well, let me see. That's 48 hours before game time, so they would have gone.
I've seen 3.5 dance to 4.5.
Yeah, there's still 4s out there though.
There's some 4. Yeah, there's a lot of 4s.
Oh, I would not be on the Washington side.
Okay.
Exactly, because you want to be on the UCLA side, which is what I'm on.
Yeah.
Give me the Bruins getting 4.5. Like I think this is a good game. UCLA is showing a lot of fight here lately. I could see Washington win it, but not by more than 4.5. Give me UCLA.
It's worth mentioning for UCLA because they lost those 5 straight games. But you look back, those 5 losses are to Indiana, undefeated, LSU on the road, Oregon, undefeated, Penn State on the road, and Minnesota, who you could argue is the 5th best team in the Big Ten. So it's like they probably weren't as bad as we thought at the time.
Also,
they're definitely not as bad as we thought it was going to be after the press conference at Big Ten Media Days.
Mm-hmm. And defensively, man, they're really good, especially against the run. So.
I was thinking, and I think I might have mentioned this last week. Reviewing that losing streak also shows that those opponents, some of they were below average in terms of their point production, their yard production. When they went up against UCLA, they were not up to their own standard for the season.
Mhm.
UCLA throwing them off their game just a little bit. Some of those game scripts were a little bit wonky. I understand context can do that, but I think to your point, UCLA revisiting that losing streak shows that they were maybe a little bit better than we were giving them credit for. So don't hate that at all. I think we got a wrong team favored situation late night Friday.
Oh.
I don't like where Arizona's at. I kind of think the Wildcats might be coming unglued. And I think that Houston is like all season long, they've done a pretty good job of, defensively giving themselves a chance. Then offensively, they've just been so woeful. They haven't been able to do it. Then, Kansas State game comes, Zion Chris takes care of the football just a little bit better. They do just enough to be able to get there. And Willie Fritz, a coach that I feel confident backing at the end of his first year here at this tenure, has the team playing with a little bit of confidence. I do not feel the same way about Brent Brennan's group at Arizona. Don't like the overall sort of sliding that we've got with the Wildcats performance. So I would not be surprised at all to see Houston go into Tucson and be able to come out with the win.
Don't hate it.
I don't hate that. Yeah.
Okay.
Do you prefer that, or do you prefer like Arizona team total under?
That'd be another good way to approach it.
So like what are the implied team totals here? Probably like 23.5 and like 20.5 or something like that, 21.5. My thought is like, if Arizona goes over team total, it is fairly hard for Houston to cover this. Like there's not a lot of ways in which it plays out to where Houston wins in a game that is significantly over the total of 45.5, right? Like it's possible, but
counterpoints, defensive touchdowns.
Very true.
Whoopsie daisies. Whoopsie daisies for a team that's checking out, and a Houston defense could turn something the other way. Short fields, my confidence is just in the outcome of the game, probably than trying to nitpick this one too much. So let's go Cougs. Willie Fritz keeps things rolling after a big win against Kansas State a few weeks ago. All right. Anything else for Friday?
Not that I'm aware of.
Okay. Well, coming up on the other side, we turn the page to Saturday, starting with some of the biggest games of the day and our player to watch. All that and more next. And now it's time for the player to watch, brought to you by Microsoft Copilot Plus PCs, powered by Snapdragon. In this segment, we'll identify a player that exemplifies the speed, intelligence, or battery found in every Copilot Plus PC. And we are turning our attention to Texas quarterback Quinn Ewers, because what we saw against the Florida Gators was a return to form for a quarterback who started the year as one of the top signal callers in the entire country. And as he goes into a hostile environment against an Arkansas defense that is going to try to give the Razorbacks an upset opportunity, that he is going to need to show all of the decision-making power that you can get in a Microsoft Copilot Plus PC. Tom, what did you see from Quinn Ewers in that performance against the Gators, and what is going to be the most important going up against Arkansas?
I think it's just the well-rounded nature of his game that we saw finally return last week against Florida, in that, yes, the short throws were still there, but we also saw him making more vertical throws down the field, which had been missing since his injury. So to see the better, well-rounded version of Quinn Ewers was really nice to see, and I think it helps Texas in their pursuit of an SEC championship and a playoff berth.
And that was the Player to Watch segment, brought to you by Microsoft Copilot Plus PCs. Whether you're multitasking like never before, working far from power outlets, or sketching your own ideas into existence, you can do it with the new Microsoft Copilot Plus PCs powered by Snapdragon. Battery life varies by device and with usage and settings. So let's go into that game. Fayetteville, Arkansas. Who's got a lock? Okay.
Go ahead, Chip.
All right. As always, we just try to give context to the situation. So last weekend was a new opening weekend for deer season. in the Arkansas Gaming Commission, which means that while Arkansas was on an off week, everybody got to go out to the deer stand and they got to, whatever their tool of choice is, we were able to use that November 9th weekend to be able to get in that first big deer weekend, which means you're going to be set, which means you're going to be locked and loaded. It means in that early morning cold, guess what? You're used to it. You were just in the deer stand 1 week ago. So it's going to feel even better when you're out there in the tailgate in the parking lot getting ready for this game, because you don't get a lot of big home games in Fayetteville, right? I mean, this is so many different Arkansas games get moved. You got to go to Jerry World to play Texas A&M, and boy, you got Texas coming. The rivalry that is slept on for the hate that Arkansas has for Texas. Texas is the better team. I am assuming that Texas will be able to get out of this game with a win, but I do think that especially at the start of the game, we might have a little bit of a slow start for the Longhorns. Sleepy, lower scoring start favors the Razorbacks. Give me Arkansas plus 7.5 in the first half against Texas.
Not a fight, but a war on a different front. I'm going to lay it 13 with Texas. I have some worries about Arkansas's ability to cover these receivers. You go back and watch. I think that the game plan that Arkansas put together for Tennessee was kind of unique to what Tennessee does. And I do think that there are some similarities that Texas can exploit in Arkansas from what it saw against Ole Miss. Probably like what Ole Miss saw with how Georgia chose to defend Texas, right? And then they gave some of the similar looks that Ole Miss gave some similar looks to Georgia that Texas did, but they ran some different stuff off it. The Texas offense and the Ole Miss offense aren't the same, but they do some of the similar things in terms of we're going to run a lot of different motion and formation to really they call plays for one guy sometimes is what I'm trying to say. It's not all drop back, read like pick a side, read out, 1, 2, 3 out. A lot of times we're calling a play for one dude. And I do think that Texas can do that to Arkansas, much like Ole Miss did.
You guys want to hear some trends?
Let's do it.
To show you how meaningful trends are. After a bye at Arkansas, Sam Pittman, 7-2 against the spread. As an underdog at Arkansas, Sam Pittman, 21-11 against the spread. At home at Arkansas, Sam Pittman, 13-17 against the spread. Huh. So, yeah, you're both right. You're both following the trends. You're both going to win.
I like the first two trends that you gave. Give me the Razorbacks where I will fight Bud Elliott. I'm taking him on. This one I think is the perfect game that's swirling. Remember Quinn Ewers said when we go in the SEC, it's everyone's Super Bowl, and all the Bama fans and Georgia fans are like, what are you guys talking? We always play big teams. I think this is a Super Bowl-like game for Arkansas. Off a bye. That Ole Miss game got sideways because Taylon Green goes down. Then he tries to still play. We talked about it after that game. There were 3 3-and-outs. Ole Miss, bam, bam, bam. All of a sudden you looked up, game was over. It gets sideways. Texas is getting way too much credit for beating a Florida team that looked like it was a bye week, getting ready for their next 2 home games. I think Arkansas was saving up for this one. Jaquindon Jackson back, trying to run the football. I think they'll keep it away from the Longhorns as much as possible. Give me the Hogs at home to cover.
Want another trend?
Give me a good
Bud
one.
is 5-1 in lock fights with Danny.
I mean, that's going to be like Paul and Tyson, right?
Yeah, could be.
Are you guys going to watch?
Probably, unless what time is it coming on?
See, this is what I had some folks ask me. They think I'm not a big boxing bettor. I don't know. What time do we think those two are actually going to fight? Not the undercard stuff.
It's usually
Mike's probably
late.
got to be in bed by 10.
Yeah, it'll be past my bedtime.
Yeah.
I'm
sure.
Houston. Sorry, my screens are occupied.
Yeah, I'll be watching UCLA, Washington, North Texas, UTSA.
All right, now let's turn our attention to big time with Penn State going to play to the big old drum. What that big old drum got for James Franklin's crew, huh? So tell me, does anybody have a lock.
Yeah, Penn State money line. Can I take that?
Nothing.
I've got nothing for this game.
No,
I had
Not
Penn
even
State.
eyeballs.
I had Penn.
I'll watch it every snap, but and all the commercials, but I don't have a bet.
I'll probably be on pregame and halftime, so I will be watching, but I am not betting it.
At the beginning of the week, we still had Purdue team total under 10.5 available. That thing has dropped to 9.5. That might be no-go zone. So I found something else because Tom, like you said, if you're going to be on this halftime show, you're going to be dialed into the final moments of the second quarter. Let's make sure we got a little something on the table. Give me Penn State first half minus 15.5. My reference point is the way that they performed in the first half against Washington. The way that I think Penn State will want to handle this game, which is to try to end it early. And then I don't want to have to be concerned with them covering the nearly 30-point spread in the second half, though I don't hate just laying it with Penn State anyway on that front. But 15.5 also available at FanDuel Sportsbook where you can make every moment more. That's also a good number in the markets.
I do have something I was looking at here, and it is pretty sicko mode if we would like, and the chat is asking for it. So I think
let's hit it.
It's time for sicko mode. Let's go. I'm a little bit lower on some of the teams in the bottom of the Sun Belt. If things go wrong, they could be like UMass, UConn. That's kind of like sicko mode of a sicko mode.
All right, look, I actually don't think we can count this for the record because the juice on this just run out a bunch, which is why. But I will be betting this some, like I wouldn't go nuts. But you can get Purdue to have a scoreless first quarter at minus 140, minus 145. Like I don't want to count that for the record because it's too much juice, but I priced it at minus 180. So
hold on. That's what's sick. Okay. I priced it. That is the sick. Yeah. The fact that numbers were calculated and the Bud Bot spit out minus 180, which means we got 40 cents of value on Purdue to be scoreless under 0.5 first quarter points.
I really just wanted the excuse to say mean median deviation,
Yeah. Okay.
We could do, let's see, hold on. You want to just do first quarter for Penn State?
What is it?
Well, let's find it. Hold on.
They said Singleton was healthy. I did get a DM.
I get you minus 7.
7 best we can do for a first quarter?
Not with the juice, yeah. I mean, there's a lot of 6.5s that are even more juice than that under half.
Oh, there's 7 out there. Yeah, you know what? Let's lay Penn State first quarter minus 7.
All right, cool.
There we go.
All right.
Yeah, look, we got first quarter, we got first half. We are dialed.
Game of the week.
The halftime show. This is the big time game of the week. Let's go.
I did get a DM from a loyal Penn State listener, and he said, hey, love the Tuesday show on CBS Sports Network. I agree with you. Even if you're not a Big Ten fan, it's definitely worth watching. Singleton got banged up at the end of the Illinois game. Hasn't looked the same explosiveness since. Said, but the bigger issue has been Donka, the right tackle, our best run blocker, has been in and out as far as ability to play. With that shoulder, Singleton looked more like himself Saturday night than he has since Illinois, although he left in the third quarter. So if the right tackle Donka is getting healthier, that could be nice. Just, I mean, I go back to that Notre Dame game, and like Purdue looked like high schoolers. So I think Penn State can score.
Yeah,
Further proof that you might win the battle against Illinois if they win the war.
I just saw your request, bud. We can go ahead and jump to Tennessee, Georgia. Are you trying to grab something that's running out right now?
I might be. Yeah.
Okay. Tennessee at Georgia Saturday night. Which one do?
I just think Tennessee is laying the groundwork here, right? For Nico to play. I'm betting Tennessee plus 10. When they use the language like precautionary on a protocol thing, as I think Thamel reported as protocol, I just think that's the kind of verbiage I would use. Like, look, we didn't have to pull him, right? against Mississippi State. It was just out of an abundance of caution. You know,
there's a phrase I haven't heard in a long time.
You see what I'm saying? Precautionary for that. Like, the doctors didn't make us pull them. We just, if I had to guess, and since I'm making a bet here, I will guess. I think he plays. Give me the 10.
I also have a pick
on
this.
FanDuel has 10.5. So thank you to our sponsor, FanDuel. Make every moment more. I'll take that 10.5. Jesus.
I am also making a play on this game. Give me the under 48.5. I would very much prefer it, obviously, if it was at 49, but I still like it at 48 just because, or 48.5. Tennessee's offense, a little too one-dimensional for me. Worry about how that'll be impactful against Georgia. And I also think that Georgia's offense I don't know how well they're going to do against this Tennessee defense.
First half under 24.5.
I won't agree with everybody, but I won't. That's 3 plays. Give me Bud's play. Give me. I'll take Tennessee in the 10.5. I like the under that Tom is on. I like the first half under that Chip is on. But I'm with you. Did you see where he was on some Georgia pod and he said he heard his people are telling him Nico's not playing? Like, it's not looking good. I was shocked because the Bear, it's a pretty good reputation. Like, he doesn't just give out stuff like that. I'm with you, Bud. I think he's playing. If he's not, does it change it?
Yes.
How much?
Oh, yeah. I think it should be 14.
14, yeah.
Like, I think, like, if he plays, it should be, like, 7.5 juice Georgia or, like, 8,
right.
I think but, like, the backup is not – that ain't it. Like, did you watch when he had to come in against Alabama?
All right, let me get Tom. Let me agree with Tom then, too. That'll be a little hedge. Because if he doesn't play, they are really going to struggle to score points.
Yeah.
So that'll be my hedge. I'll lock it up with Tom. I'll lock it up with Bud. I still think their defense could keep it competitive. Like, I don't hate the cover still, potentially, if they can run the football. I mean, they do have Dylan Sampson back there running it, and he's a pretty good runner. I don't know if you're going to run it right at the heart of Georgia's defense without a pass game because it has been a pretty big drop-off. But I look at Georgia – and I think it's interesting that we've already been conversation, and it bothered me that they were saying, well, can a Georgia 3-loss team get in there? It's almost like they're preparing everyone for that reality. I don't know if they lose the game outright, but I think Tennessee's defense is going to have Carson Beck seeing ghosts like he's been seeing the latter half of the season, and I don't see it getting fixed anytime soon. So I like Tennessee here.
Can I ask you why you like first half under better?
Well, for starters,
Georgia lock.
Well, yeah, I don't know. I think I'm 5-1 on Georgia first half unders this season.
No, I mean, like Georgia clearly funnels under first half for whatever reason.
Well, I'll tell you the reason, because they're not going to put Carson Beck in a position to make a mistake early. They're going to be much more happy to play field position, play it safe, and just continue to rely on the defense until things start to get a little bit panicky, and then you've got to take some bigger haymakers. That's like the principle is mostly Georgia based. And then when you include Tennessee and any possibility of Nico being out, when you include even Tennessee in general, I mean, they do not have the wide receivers right now to just go down every single time that they get the ball on their first possession, march down the field and score a touchdown. They just haven't done it. And I definitely don't think they're going to do it at Georgia at night against this defense. So that's kind of where I'm thinking.
I don't hate. I mean, obviously, 5-1 to the first half under is,
I was guessing that one off the top of my head. I don't have that one like.
Not to make this show an hour and a half or 2 hours, but like the reason why I kind of prefer the first half under is because I think the way Tennessee plays and the way that Georgia wants to play, I think it kind of funnels more towards a full game under. In that, if Georgia does get up, then they can basically just spit on the all the play action stuff that Tennessee wants to do.
Right, which is what happened last time that they played, where it was like all the scoring was in the first half and then they sat on it for sure.
Yeah, exactly. And part of that was obviously, well, last year, you're right. No, that too. I mean, they're probably both solid bets. Like, can either side block each other? I don't know.
And let's go. Mackenzie Brooks, Ken's Brook Bets on Twitter, joining us now. Superstar of the college football pregame show. Ken's, what's going on?
What's going on, guys? I heard that I have a red X where I should have a green check mark on Texas team total that smashed in the first half. So we're going to need to edit that on the sheet. Thank you.
She's coming in hot.
Oh, my bad.
I need all the
I'm
green
just so
check
used
marks
to putting red on there that I just probably
yeah.
assumed.
All right. I got 3 picks this weekend. Some sicko mode, some pretty normal. Starting with Liberty, team total over 33.5 against UMass. Any chance you can have to fade this UMass team in any capacity, I think you should take it. I like the spread, but I think the team total is a better play. I mean, any offense with a pulse can score on this team. Then SMU team total over 34.5. Death taxes SMU team totals and Texas team totals. This is a team averaging 45 points per game against the 9 FBS schools that they've played. Need all the style points they could get, or should at least try to get all the style points they can get, just in case Clemson gives them a run for their money as well. So I think that they will be playing well against a Boston College defense who just is average. You know, they can score on average defenses. That's really all there is to say about this team. Then LSU minus the 4.5 against Florida. I mean, they are 1 hit away from back to a walk-on quarterback here. I'm willing to take those chances. And they're just injured and sad, and LSU's angry. So there.
Like Lagway plays, but think about who's torn up LSU in recent weeks, right? Running quarterback Marcel Reed, Jalen Milroe's legs. If Lagway ain't 100%, like if you don't got full go juice, I don't know, man. Like that's a little tough.
That was my thoughts exactly. Thank you, bud.
The chat wants to know a reaction from Florida. That's a lot of
There's a lot of common 3 picks. That's the same number of points that Florida State scored.
Guys,
last week.
I can't even express to you the emotional trauma of watching 4 quarters.
Save you.
You don't have to watch.
Never.
I mean, obviously, like if you saw Michael Alford's presentation last night to the boosters, everybody's still watching. Time slot champs, baby. But
I will never put myself through that emotional warfare ever again. I will not be watching Florida State football for the rest of the season. I really thought I had it after the 3rd drive of the game. I think they had the field goal.
It is so freeing to just watch them on PFF.
You
just watch all the snaps in a row. Like, okay, same issue. That guy's clearly hurt and still trying to play through it. Okay,
Was it the Tate Rodemaker fumble that broke you? Like they'd gotten it all the way down to the 30-yard line or something?
What broke me was when they started just not settling for field goals, obviously because they were behind, which makes a lot of sense. But for us sweating out the team total over, there were about 2 field goal opportunities that would have cashed to 9 points.
They got one of the best kickers in the country.
Right? I mean, the kids got reps. So that is really what put me over the edge. And yeah, that was bad. Anyway, all right, I'm going to get in trouble with our producers if I don't go downstairs. Goodbye.
See you, Mackenzie.
Hello.
Man. All right.
Might be a fight later on. Might be a fight. One of those picks.
Yeah. I like. And never mind. America's future versus America's past. Liberty-UMass. Anyone got it?
I do. Liberty minus 14.5. Tyson Fomanchan is injured. UMass stunk with him. How do you think they're going to look with their backup?
Yep. Nope. Don't disagree with that one at all. Anyone got anything else for? Actually, let's hit a break and then just open up Saturday. Does that sound good?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Coming up on the other side, opening up the slate for all of Saturday with the rest of our locks. Next.
CBS Sports HQ, giving you college football coverage unlike anyone else.
We're talking Big Ten.
Pre- and post-game coverage.
Are you encouraged with the way that this team responded?
Along with breaking news.
A lot of movement in the rankings this week.
Highlights and expert analysis.
That streak could be in jeopardy here.
Sure. What was your main takeaway from this game? How impressive was his domination?
That really changed the football game.
Let's go ahead and have some more fun.
Another wild ending. The chaos continues.
Turn to CBS Sports HQ.
Let's review what we've got on the board so far. Bud is on. Wyoming plus 10 against Colorado State. Texas minus 13.5. Penn State first quarter minus 7. And Tennessee plus 10.5. I've got Houston plus 1.5. Arkansas first half plus 7.5. Penn State first half plus 15.5. And the Tennessee-Georgia first half minus 24.5. Danny's on. North Texas, UTSA under 72.5, Arkansas plus 13.5, Tennessee, Georgia under 48.5, Tennessee plus 10.5, and UCLA plus 4.5. While Tom's locked in on North Texas, UTSA under 72.5, Liberty minus 14.5, and Tennessee, Georgia under 48.5. Danny, you want to go ahead and the boxing gloves on that LSU-Florida?
Yeah.
Game? Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Gator Danny.
Gator Danny ready to roll.
Gator Danny's back. I mentioned this before. I think Florida, they gave the show of support from Scott Strickland. I might have been distracted for some other sports that are happening right now, but they did give the voice of support. I think the team mentally thought it was a bye week as well. This is just kind of a practice week. We're going to go to Texas. We have to get this one, but I think all eyes are coming back on this one. How many more games can you get? And it starts now. I've said for a while, I think they could win one of these next 2 weeks. I think this is the one. I think DJ Lagway, as much as we thought maybe he was dead when he was carted off the field, he was really close to playing last week against Texas. Another game time decision I thought made specifically for this game. I think they're all in on this one, and I am not sold on LSU. Where is their psyche? I know there's a path, and they could still win the SEC. I don't think this team is very good. I think they're average. I think Florida's average too, but I think average, at home with a kind of season on the line could salvage the season type of win. I like them with the 4.5. Can I get 5? I don't even know if I need it, but I saw 5 earlier.
Bigger than that, isn't there?
It might be 5.5 out there. And I think the clip you used, Danny, was the most overrated 3-loss team in the country. Wasn't that yours?
There's 5 out there on spec odds. There's no 5.5. All right.
Yeah.
That I can see.
All right.
Got to go to far away places for that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I'd love the name of the one book that has it, though. It's incredible.
And if you're making a bet on Lagway goes down, then good luck. Like if he goes down, I'm screwed. Like fully aware of that.
Early start for sure, but it was a late night last week, and Utah keeps losing bodies. What?
I'm sorry. I also have a play on that game.
Oh, on LSU Florida?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll be quick though. Over 54.5. I just think both offenses are going to score.
I can rock with that. Yeah. Utah got its heart broken. We are down to just one quarterback left, and that quarterback is Isaac Wilson. After that, I guess we're just going to go to like Micah Bernard Wildcat. Players are entering the transfer portal. It is really, really tough to get back up after a huge rivalry game, and sometimes maybe even tougher after you lose the way that Utah has lost. I think that Colorado at home has the chance to, even if they start really slow, their offensive relentlessness suggests that the touchdowns and the explosive plays will come over the course of 4 quarters. I'm going to take Colorado, and I'm not going to think about it too much. So I'll take 11, 11.5, 10.5, whatever the best number is.
11.5 lock agreement.
All right.
You touched on a lot of it. Isaac Wilson is back at QB. We've seen Utah with that. It is not a very good football team. Last week very much was their Super Bowl, kind of a heartbreaker. Maybe they come out vengeful and pissed off at the earth and give us their best performance of the season. But with Isaac Wilson at QB, I'm just not that confident it will mean much, even if they do. So, Buffs.
Nothing? Okay. All right. Feel okay about that then? Bud, where do you want to go?
I am going to go. All right. This probably classifies as sicko mode. Let's go.
Again.
Time for sicko mode. Let's go.
Another one.
I'm a little bit lower on some of the teams in the bottom of the Sun Belt. If things go wrong, they could be like UMass. That's kind of like sicko mode of a sicko mode.
So obviously I've been fading Troy for most of the year, but they kind of found something here with the quarterback stuff. Have you guys checked this out recently? New quarterback they got last couple of weeks. Not that bad. I am betting that Georgia Southern's defense, maybe not that great. I'm going to go over 22.5 team total for Troy against Georgia Southern. Georgia Southern obviously wants to push and pace. Troy's defense is not that good. They should get a lot of opportunities here. Sometimes Troy gets a little, or sometimes Georgia, well, they both get a little loose with the ball, but I think maybe they get a short field or something here. If it was under 23, I was betting it. So over 22.5 team total for Troy.
Look, this is the advantage when you just go all in as the Troy boy. Is that the information's still in your feed. Coach might leave, but you're still keeping a good beat on what's like the ins and the outs and who's playing at quarterback and when we're making changes. And that's how you build up a library of information, friends. Is you don't cut them loose. Troy boy once, Troy boy forever. Love it. Love to see it.
I think FanDuel has 21.5, by the way. So, it shouldn't matter, but if you're out there,
it'll be hilarious if they finish with 22, though.
It would.
I got some chip line value here. We'll see what it's at the current posting as we are live here at youtube.com/cover3. But looking at Oregon, Wisconsin, I remember Michigan having some success moving the football. We saw Maryland have some success moving the football. 8th game in a row for Oregon's defense, as Tom mentioned on Big Game Breakdown, or on Tuesday. They've been playing very vanilla. I'm going to go Wisconsin team total over. And I think we're looking at I liked it at 19.5. Yeah, I liked it at 19. I don't know. Are there any numbers between, obviously there are numbers, but 17.5 to 19.5. We're talking about very rare occurring numbers at 18 and 19, right?
Some of your U.S. domestics have a slider you can use, but I'm not sure what we have here.
I'll tell you what we have. We have a lock fight.
On the Wisconsin team total?
Yeah, I'm going under 17.5.
Oh my God. What in the world?
Well, there's 19.5 out there for Tom.
What kind of juice, though?
-12.
Oh, okay, cool. I'll take that.
Let's middle this at 6 field goals.
18.
But I've got a Danny's got his 2-for-1 special. I've got the Tom 3-for-1. I am all over this game. I'm sorry, Wisconsin. I think you're going to get your ass kicked. Oregon -14 full game. Oregon first half -7.5, and the Wisconsin team total under 19.5. I'm going to go 3-0 in this one.
Woo! Can we do that?
You know what?
That was possible.
This is what makes this show. Like this weekend is not necessarily a park your ass Saturday weekend, and all of our asses will be parked because this is a lot of bets.
The Menage a Duck.
The Menage a Duck.
3-for-1 special on Oregon. The Menage a Duck. Tom coming through strong. I might be catching a stray over here on one of those legs there, but wow. I am. Come on, Phil Longo. Let's find something.
Never mind.
Yeah, fine.
I gotta play.
Yeah.
It's kind of an agreement with KENZ. SMU is ranked 14th in the country as a 1-loss team, and their only loss is to BYU by 3 points. And then you've got, so you're already been disrespected this week. Then you've got whatever the heck is happening in Chestnut Hill with Thomas Castellanos not happy with his benching. So he's going to take a few days, which what world are we even living in now when a guy gets benched? And it's like, Tommy's a good competitor. He's going to take a few days to deal with it. Then there's reports that he's hitting the portal. I don't think he's traveling to the game. And what's my man's name? It's the clothing outfitter known as Grayson James. I am not believing in Grayson James, although he did play all right last week in relief. But I think this is about going into a hornet's nest where I wonder what is happening to the Boston College roster and their leadership. Give me SMU, lay the points. I think they're realizing maybe we need style points. I think this is Rhett Lashley's memo to the college football world. Hey, you better start taking us more seriously. Lay them.
Fight.
I know a professional.
Fight.
Look, I think it's very fair to say what I said on the show on Wednesday. was it Wednesday or Monday? Whatever day we discussed it, how like, maybe a mobile quarterback's not the best fit with Bill O'Brien, et cetera. But I had some BC people reach out to the comments and they're like, hey, I'm not saying you're wrong about that, dude, but like Castellanos, with how he's been banged up, is not the same runner that he was last year. Like the explosiveness is not the same. And the passing is really, really lacking. I guess last 2 games, he's 15 of 35 and the legs aren't there either. So I'm not really convinced that Castellanos being out here for them is a downgrade. Because if he can't run and he also just can't hit the stuff that BC schemes up, then you ain't doing much of anything. So I kind of think Grayson James is an upgrade. I didn't adjust my power rating here for this based on how he's been playing. So I'm going to go ahead and take that 19.5.
We can middle it.
Let's go.
All right. Grayson James, you get down here.
It's a good point. Like I went back and watched the PFF clips, and maybe he's more hurt than I realized. But like the throwing has been poor. So credit to the BC fans out there for, we love the audience.
Better clean your room, Grayson James.
Who's going to get into the chocolate milk? Who's doing Provo at night? Who's got a lock for BYU-Kansas?
I do.
All right, let's hear it.
Do you as well?
I do.
I told you, I think you know where I'm going.
Yep.
Brett Yormark he would just cancel Kansas. He would try to cancel the flights because Kansas is ruining the Big 12's chances. They already did it last week with Iowa State. I've been a big backer of BYU where their resume says they should be. And if they win, I will do it again. I don't think they're winning. And if I can get some points as well, I might as well take them. Kansas, what's their record? They're the best 3-win team in the country because all they do is and they got their first win. I'm going to take it. Give me Kansas as the road underdog. And I wouldn't be surprised if you hear it a little bit later in the show as well. Give me the Jacks. Is it a full field goal or is it 2.5?
I can get you
2.5.
Oh,
wait, are there 3s out there?
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, all right.
Perfect.
Well, fight. I'm going to lay it with BYU.
Oh, man.
Fight.
Look, I don't really love this spot for Kansas, to be honest. And I don't think BYU is like that bad. I think in some ways they have played a little bit better in some recent weeks. I still like their defense a pretty good bit. Obviously, I'm concerned about the BYU run D against Devin Neal and these guys, but I think BYU can score on them. So I'm going to go ahead and lay it with BYU. That's not an easy place to go play, as Kansas State found out.
And I will I don't think there's any 55.5s left, are there? 56.5 across the board? I'm still
You want overs?
Overs, yeah.
Yeah, 56.5 is the best I can get, Chip.
Yeah, we got, let's see, 81, 56, 56, 66, 65. These are the point totals in Kansas football games. They give up a lot defensively, even in games that they're controlling, like last week against Iowa State. Iowa State still was able to move the ball. Iowa State was still able to score. And, BYU is probably going to be in a position where if they are continually getting chased by Jalen Daniels and this defense, then they're going to have to keep their foot on the gas as well. So I think that, like a lot of Kansas games, this one is going to end up being a little bit higher scoring. And so I lean Cougs in terms of the outright winner, but I think seeing a bunch of touchdowns feels the most appropriate. All right.
Can I get one in because it's starting to move?
Yes.
South Carolina -13.
Because it's about to hit 14?
It's already hitting 14 at some places.
Give me that drill. Or Tom reasoning first, and then drill.
My reasoning is that Mizzou stinks, and America wants South Carolina to win.
It's America's team. There's no doubt about that. All right, let's see. Drill? Yeah.
Let's go. Sorry, I'm trying to pull it up. Got a bunch of texts. Where are we at? Gotta make sure I don't say this guy's real name on the air as I search for his text. Okay. It's actually pretty short this week.
Grayson James.
Grayson James. Slim pickings this weekend. I'll go with South Carolina minus 13.5 at home versus Missouri. Missouri's been very fortunate to this point, but I think reality sets in here and they get beat up by the Cox. Tooth emoji, lock emoji, anchor down emoji. No waves this week.
No waves. I thought that you would gloat a little bit.
Somebody found himself a girlfriend. Good for you.
Or
got himself a new dental assistant.
Or there is a Mrs. Dentist, and Mrs. Dentist caught wind of these wave emojis.
Watched an episode.
I almost called him and I was like, hey, because my buddy's dentist down here stopped taking their insurance and his kid needs a procedure done. So anyway, because they had to switch to some other, because his company went bigger. So like they're not just in Florida no more. And I was like, I wonder, could we get like a golf and bourbon trip out of this? I got to accompany them to make the introduction. His son gets a little tooth work done, and then yeah.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All right, cool. The most terrifying experience as a college football bettor in 2024 might be taking the under in New Mexico football games. Tom has done it several times. He's won some of those bets, but it is not for the faint of heart. If you have not watched Devin Dampier, he is a joy, okay? And one of the things that happens is as you get later into the game, defenses, their legs get tired of chasing this quarterback around, which is why I am just going to isolate the first half under 37.5 in Washington State, New Mexico, with the legs get tired principle saying, I don't want to have to sweat when the defense gets tired of chasing Devin Dampier around. Come on, Washington State defense, get me a couple of stops, and you can get us to the pay window at 37.5 first half under.
Oh, coward. Give me the whole game minus under 72.5.
Also, thank you to the chat for pointing out there's 20s on Boston College. So I prefer 20 rather than 19.5.
All right, so actually, I'm not ready to get that disgusting yet. Danny, where would you like to
go? Do you know what? It's one of the small pleasures in life that we probably take for granted because we do it every day.
Showering.
A nice hot shower. Mm-hmm. It just feels good. And Fran Brown, now did he say he doesn't shower all week after a loss?
No, it's just that night
after the game.
It's just that after the game.
All right, so I'm a little more nervous about this play because I think if you were a real man, you would just not shower all week. But Syracuse traveling across the country to take on Cal. Give me Kyle McCord, who outside of that Pitt game where he threw 3 first half pick sixes, he's been playing pretty good. Cal's had a nice little year, but I don't trust him by this many points. Give me Syracuse 9.5. I'll take them. Give me all those points.
The stinky plane principle. Do you know how long that flight is going to be from Berkeley to Syracuse, New York, if nobody's taking showers, if nobody's using soap? Soap is for winners, and they want to be clean on that flight. And to your point, now Kyle McCord did have kind of a bad interception in the loss to Boston College.
I'm glad you clarified which game.
Yeah.
What?
One basically every game.
What? One bad interception basically every game?
Well, Pitt, there was 3. Stanford, there were 2.
Pitt, there were 5.
Back. He was clean last week, wasn't he?
No, he had 1 interception last week.
The one. Only 1.
So
go ahead.
But I do think that we are dealing with the team. Cal's been playing a little bit loose. Their statistical profile on the season has some good defensive performances, but also you go back and you review them, or as Bud, I guess those big eyes are referencing the Wake game that he watched last week. This is a Cal defense that I think Syracuse can have some success against. If it's going to be a little bit high scoring, if it's going to be a little bit back and forth, and you're going to hang out a 9.5, I definitely like Syracuse's chances, in addition to the pursuit of soap.
Shouldn't you shower after a loss?
What?
Get that stink off you?
Get the stink of defeat off. Like after you win, Like, if you're superstitious, like a lot of athletes are, like you hear guys, it's like, I don't change my underwear after a win. I do everything the same. I have the same damn meals, blah, blah, blah. After a loss, you should wash all that shit off you, man. Like, this is a horrible decision by Fran Brown, and it makes me question everything he's doing to lead that program, and I'm not sure that's the kind of coach I want leading my team. So I'm not going to fight it, but you're going to lose.
I have thought about over here. Have you guys? Cal's pass rate is way up in recent weeks. Last 4 games, 37 attempts, 42 attempts, 36 attempts, 56 attempts last week against Wake. Mendoza's not playing great, but he's at least completing a lot of balls.
Yeah. Throw it on the card if you want. I started with soap, so I'm not going to back off my principle, but I do imagine a higher scoring game.
Now, you know what?
Well, FanDuel's got 55.5. Give me that over 55.5. Let's go.
Okay. Yeah. Give me Cal minus 8.5. I'm fighting you too.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Principle.
Fight.
So I think it's in the principle of, like, you rub the dog's face in the vomit, right? Is that it? Or like,
I don't know, Chip. They're your children. You do what you want with them.
I don't do that to my children. I know dog owners you make yourself suffer so that you train your brain to never want to feel that way again. That's what I think it's coming from. Soap is for winners. So, it sounds like he's hazing himself, but
it fundamentally makes no sense to me. I just think it's bad coaching.
I'll tell you what, Fran Brown's an intense dude. He's gonna clip this. Be a big Tom Fornelli fan. Let's stay in the ACC. Pitt, Clemson under. Are there 54s left or just 53.5?
What do we got here?
Pitt,
What's
Clemson?
the rotation on that?
Yeah.
The total is currently at 54. And there's 54.5. There's 53.5. There's 54s. You pick your number.
Under 54.5, please. Clemson's defense did a good job against Virginia Tech. Clemson's offense did not do a good job against Virginia Tech. Cade Klubnik gets 3 touchdown passes, which looks nice on the season total, but it was not, they had 0 points at halftime. It was not overly effective. They took advantage of some short fields, in part because of 3 turnovers that Clemson defense was able to deliver. I really feel like this is the game where we continue to see Pitt's offense just hasn't been anywhere close to the same level of production that they had early in the season. And, Dabo's more than happy to win this thing 24-14 too. So, in, out, ride your defense. I see that kind of game. So give me the under in Clemson Pitt.
Give me Pitt team total under 20.5.
I saw that too. Like that.
Let the children sing with Chip.
All right.
Holstein, gonna play, I think, but man, they're starting to stack up a little bit. I know it was a speck of dirt one time. Yarnell came in, was awful. I'm not playing him to get hurt, but even still, we've talked a lot about how that offense is slowing down versus better competition. But I'm also, I faded Clemson last week against the spread, was concerned how they'd bounce back. I'm like, a 24-point performance isn't exactly one that makes you feel great about Clemson. So I just think it's going to be lower scoring.
Holstein might not even play too. And the Nate
Right.
Yarnell experience is not going to inspire a lot of offensive confidence either. All right. Everybody's got a couple on the board, Bud. Where do you want to go?
I don't have a lot left, but I've got a couple totals here. Let's knock out 2 Sunbelt totals. All right. We're going to go Coastal at Marshall under 57.5. And basically just same principle, a little more running, less tempo from Coastal. Marshall, I don't know if they can finish in the red zone. We will see. Coastal's defense is not that bad, I don't think. Obviously, at the end of the game last week, they were a little sketchy. But for the most part, that felt kind of rocking chair to me. And then I'm going to go James Madison, Old Dom, over 51.5. I think the tempo there from Old Dom, James Madison does have a tendency to give up explosive plays. I really like the new quarterback for Old Dom. Maybe not as like a transfer up candidate, but for the Sun Belt level, he does a pretty nice job. So, if they can get to like 27, I think this is or 24, this is pretty live to go over.
It's a fun game.
I think so.
With Georgia Southern's win against James Madison, I think they've got the edge in that division race. But both those teams in that Sun Belt East have been spunky for sure. So I like that. And I think what's the spread, like 2.5 or something? Should be a tight competitive game. So cool. I'm glad Bud's got a little interest, able to spotlight that. So they're really trying to get one over on your boy. Okay. I don't know if you've seen the juices out there on this Ohio State third quarter, but they're trying to box me out. You know, they're trying to box me out. But here's the thing. I'm an independent thinker. I think outside the box. You make the box, I'm outside it. So it's 6.5, like minus 180, something crazy. I can't bring that to the Locks pod. I'm like, hey, just throw a 7.5. I'll take that too. They're like, no, you deal with your 180 and you like it. And that's why I go around. Okay. And I find the Ohio State-Northwestern third quarter over 9.5. Because if I like Ohio State to cover 7.5 in the third quarter, I have to assume that at least 10 points will be scored in the third quarter. And if I think Ohio State is going to be able to score 10 points in the third quarter, well, then let's grab it. Ohio State, Northwestern, third quarter, over 9.5.
Can't argue against the logic.
Love it.
Shout out to Wrigley. Come on, I hope the wind's blowing out. Wrigley overs, daytime.
I just hope Jeremiah Smith doesn't run into a brick wall.
Seriously. Okay, I said I was going to try to keep the governor on this thing, but that was my 11th pick. I've got a couple left I could take. So
I've got 2 left as well.
All right. Yeah, let it rip.
I'm going to take the under 64.5 in Wake UNC. Number's too damn high.
Too damn high.
And then finally, I'm taking Western Kentucky team total over 33.5. I think they're going to be able to get pretty much anything they want against Louisiana Tech.
All right, Danny, how many you got left?
2 or 3. I'll rattle them off here.
Okay.
With Veterans Day in the rear view, I don't feel as bad about this.
He didn't mind doing it before either. Let's be clear.
Tulane's the best team in the group of 5. That's right. I said it. Damian Mensah, their quarterback's been playing really good. They've rattled off 7 wins in a row. Their only losses to Oklahoma and Kansas State by 1 possession. Navy had the 2-game skid, got it back on track, but I'm not sold. Is it still at 6.5? I hope.
Not with workable juice.
7.
7?
Yeah.
All right. I was at 7. I still like it, though. It's 7. So I'll take Tulane, lay the 7 in that game. The other game I will
Can
take.
I get something on that game?
Yeah, go ahead.
Over 51.5. That's last play I got on the board. Is there 51.5 still? 52. Sorry.
52, yeah.
I just think I think Tulane's going to score. So I'm that's kind of my thing there. I think Navy will score enough to get there, and I'm fairly confident Tulane's going to score a good bit.
That's my read on that game as well. I like that for sure.
Other one, Big 12. Nobody's better than the others. Play Arizona State against Kansas State. Too many points. Cam Scatteraboo. I think he's back. It said all points, signs pointing to him coming back for ASU. What's that?
No, I was just making a noise.
Yeah. +9.
Yeah, I can get you a 9.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay, perfect. I'll take ASU as the road underdog. Again, just too many points in this conference where there's been so much parity, so many evenly matched teams. And then the last one, Iowa State. Eesh, rough one last week, the week before. Am I supposed to just trust them to get a comfortable blowout win against Cincinnati? No, I am not. Another one, too many points. I'll take Cincinnati, another road dog, get 9.5.
I can get you 10.
Oh, even better.
Go.
I can't with Brendan Sorsby. I have to. I've put him in detention for a week. after last week. I was very much having that near the card, but I just you gotta teach these kids a lesson.
I do have one more today. I'm sorry. Baylor -2. I just don't really trust West Virginia, and I think Baylor's playing pretty well. And I don't think last week's result was totally indicative of how those teams are playing.
We've already got 2.
No. Then you'll at least be able to have it either 2-1.
That's right. Let's go.
All right.
Fight it.
Fight.
Give it to me. I had West Virginia on the card. Home dog. May even hear it a little bit.
I guess 2.5, Dan.
Notre Dame team total over 36.5. I think they're rolling. Virginia came off that huge win against Pitt. That was massive for sort of their bowl math. Their next games are Notre Dame and SMU. They've got Virginia Tech at the end of the season. When I think about Virginia, obviously the Whoopsie Daisy King, but also, Kobe Pace, Malachi Fields, like some of the best players, the ones that you would expect to maybe be able to show up and make this thing competitive are on the offensive side. So let's go with that Fighting Irish offense to just continue what has been a little bit of a trend as the season has progressed, which is things are just crisper. The offensive line is a physical, and they are just running right at, through, and past people. So I'll go Notre Dame team total over 36.5. And that'll be it for me. Okay. Anybody else before we hit Moneyline Sprinkles? All right. Coming up on the other side, we will recap our Week 12 locks and give you our underdogs to win on the field in Moneyline Sprinkles. Next. Let's review what we've got for Week 12. Bud is on. Wyoming +10, Texas -13.5, Penn State first quarter -7, Tennessee +10.5, Troy team total over 21.5, Boston College +20, BYU -2.5, Syracuse Cal over 55.5, Pitt team total over 20.5, the Coastal Carolina Marshall under 57.5, JMU Old Dominion over 51.5, Tulane Navy over 52, Baylor -2. I've got Houston +1.5, Arkansas first half +7.5, Penn State first half -15.5, Tennessee, Georgia first half under 24.5, Colorado -11.5, Wisconsin team total over 17.5, BYU, Kansas over 56.5, Washington State, New Mexico first half under 37.5, Syracuse +9.5, Clemson-Pitt under 54.5, Ohio State, Northwestern third quarter over 9.5, Notre Dame team total over 36.5. Danny's got North Texas UTSA under 72.5, Arkansas +13.5, Tennessee, Georgia under 48.5, Tennessee +10.5, UCLA +4.5, SMU -18.5, Kansas +3, Florida +5, Syracuse +9.5, Clemson-Pitt under 54.5, Tulane -7, Arizona State +9, West Virginia +2.5, Cincinnati +10. Tom Scott. North Texas UTSA under 72.5, Liberty -14.5, Tennessee, Georgia under 48.5, LSU-Florida over 54.5, Colorado -11.5, Wisconsin team total under 19.5, Oregon -14.5, Oregon first half -7.5, Cal -8.5, Washington State, New Mexico under 72.5, South Carolina -13, Wake, North Carolina under 64, and the Western Kentucky team total over 33.5. And now it's time for Moneyline Sprinkles, brought to you by FanDuel Sportsbook. Make every moment more. Last week in sprinkling action, Bud had Kennesaw and North Texas. Neither one of those got home. Chip came in with Kansas +125 and Virginia +240 as both winners. LSU and Utah did not. Danny got New Mexico and then lost North Texas, Utah, USF, Texas Tech, Virginia Tech. And Tom got New Mexico and lost Syracuse, Michigan, UCF, and Oklahoma State. That means for the season on Moneyline Sprinkles, Tom is still the Sprinkle King, 20 and 26 overall, up 7.88 units. I'm in second place now, 12 and 21, up 4.5 units. Bud in third place, up 2.38 units at a 9 and 20 record. And Danny is 11 and 32, down 16.38 units. Tom, where you want to go?
I've got 3 this week, and I'm going to do it. I'm gonna completely tear this whole thing apart. Give me Arkansas State plus 125, Rutgers plus 190, and the chaos is just Kansas plus 120.
I am right there with you on Rutgers. I kind of like the 5.5 too, but when you're dealing with this this math that we have, I think that if Rutgers is going to be within 5.5, then you think Maryland is cratering at home. So you might as well just take the Scarlet Knights on the money line. So I will go Rutgers. I will go UCLA on the money line on Friday night. And then my final play. Where was I? Oh, what do I get for Nebraska USC?
Nebraska plus 285.
Yeah, that would be the Dana Holgerson high variance USC craps their pants. Yeah, give me Nebraska as my last money line sprinkle.
This weekend, sleepy weekend, right? No one's calling any massive upsets, but that's all we've gotten on the other sleepy weekends of college football this year. Parity is here. I'm way down in the race. I need to start swinging for the fences. I'm going to take the one that Tom was too scared to say. Give me Arkansas at home in Fayetteville. What am I looking at? Plus
385, 375, somewhere around there.
Somewhere around there.
There's probably something. There's plus 436.
Yeah.
Let's go big.
Fantastic. Let's go big. I need to go big. The other one, Oregon Ducks, the number 1 team in the country. We've seen a revolving door at number 1. The world would be shocked, including myself. Wisconsin, plus 480, somewhere in that ballpark.
Wow. 460.
Yeah.
Man, give me the Gators at home against LSU. Give me West Virginia at home, and that'll be a wrap for me to finish it up 4-0. Let's go.
I mean, you want to talk about getting some units.
Come back.
Let's go.
You for the fences.
You go 4-0 there, then we have reversed the financial outlook of the Danny Sprinkles enterprise. All right, Bud, what you want?
Wait, hold on. It was Arkansas, Wisconsin, Florida, and who?
West
Virginia.
Okay, cool.
Cincinnati plus 300 to go in and get the win there. Arizona State plus 277 to go into Kansas State and win. Nebraska plus 285 joining Chip there. That just seems a little high. And Air Force plus 155 to get that home upset over Oregon State.
Love that.
Yeah, Oregon State's not very good.
Oregon State is losing the plot. I mean, they're trying to gnaw on.
They're so banged up. That's a crappy situation to take over, given what happened to all the players who left, but also the immediate number of injuries they had, even coming out of spring, was crazy.
All right, so that is Bud on Cincinnati, Arizona State, Nebraska, and Air Force for his Moneyline Sprinkles. I've got Rutgers, UCLA, and Nebraska. Danny has Arkansas, Wisconsin, Florida, and West Virginia. And Tom is on Arkansas State, Rutgers, and Kansas. And that has been the Moneyline Sprinkles segment brought to you by FanDuel Sportsbook. Make every moment more. Woo! I said I would keep it disciplined, and I didn't. I don't learn lessons. We'll see.
Keep firing.
Just keep firing. Let's go. Great. Listen, again, the weekend ahead is going to give us, even if it doesn't have landscape shifting results, we're going to learn something. We're going to learn something, and we'll look forward to breaking it all down with you Saturday night, 11:30 p.m. Eastern time. Come and hang out at youtube.com/cover3. Jump in the tailgate. It's always busy. Of course, Saturday morning, You can catch Danny. You can catch Mackenzie, Jordan Giorgio, Damian Harris, and more as part of college football pregame on CBS Sports HQ, the CBS Sports app. And I've been promoting this. So last week, I actually had to follow through on it. They do have it set up on Paramount Plus. If you open Paramount Plus and you go to live TV, it will be promoted there once the show gets started at 9 a.m. So you can watch it there as well. I always got to get in my opening hour before we walk to the donut shop, so just get everything warmed up, see what everyone's saying in those opening blocks. And then I get in a little family time before kickoff. So
hit that like button.
What?
Hit that like button for us.
Oh, yeah. Smash that like, smash that subscribe. And you can follow him on Twitter at Tom Fernelli. You can follow him at Danny Cannell. You can follow him at BudElliott3. You can follow me at Chip_Patterson. Gentlemen, thank you very much.
Thank you.
See y'all.